We are weird. We are unique. And we're also just plain odd.
Hello, my darklings. I thought that today we would discuss books that I feel don't get enough hype. These are amazing books. I absolutely love and adore them, and I feel, do not get the credit and acknowledgement that they deserve for being such amazing books. So we're going to go through them. I'm going to explain a little bit about each one for why I feel like they deserve more hype than they actually get. And just so that you all know, there may be some spoilers to the books. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers at all for specific books, you might want to skip. The first book that I feel deserves more hype than it gets is Repeat by Kylie Scott. Now, Repeat is about Ed and Clementine. Clementine and Ed are already broken up at the beginning of the book, but Clementine does not know this because a month earlier she was attacked and now has amnesia. She does not remember Ed or anyone for that matter, while Ed still holds a grudge because of their breakup. It is a very sweet book, and I love how Ed, even though he is still hurt by what old Clementine has done to him during their relationship and their breakup, he still tries to help the new Clementine, the one with the amnesia, the one that doesn't know that she has done anything to hurt him. It is very sweet, and I like that it shows that because of past hurts that Clementine does not even know about anymore, her entire personality changes. She did not have to deal with the death of her mother because she doesn't even remember it anymore. So that turned her into a much different person. The two are amazing characters, each in themselves, and I love their relationship together as well. So Repeat is definitely a book that I feel deserves more hype and that I would give 5 stars and strongly suggest that anyone that loves romance read. Now, another one is The Host by Stephanie Meyer. Many people absolutely hated this, and I don't understand why, because I loved this book. I actually loved this more than Twilight. The movie was okay, but I felt like they couldn't do it justice because of the fact that most of this book happens inside Melanie and Wanderer's head. Now, so that you don't get confused if you've never read this, these aliens have come to Earth and they round up the people and get injected into them. When this happens, they are now in control of the brain and body of the body. This person is no longer this person. They are the alien. So the alien can choose to keep that name or have a different name or whatever they want to do, basically. In this book, Melanie, who has been on the run with her little brother to try to not get captured by the aliens, is captured finally. And Wanderer gets put inside of her. But Melanie is not quiet as many other people have. Instead, Melanie speaks to her and can sometimes take back her body. Because of this, Wanderer starts feeling sympathy for Melanie. She sees Melanie's little brother. She wants to protect him just as much as Melanie wants to protect him. She sees Melanie's boyfriend and starts having feelings for him because she can see and feel everything Melanie herself feels. It's basically turning into a wanderer, maybe an alien, but she's just as human as Melanie. And this whole book kind of goes along that line of showing it. But when she goes back to Melanie's family and is captured by them, she has to basically convince them that she, while is not Melanie, is Melanie, and that she would never hurt them, that she's not there to turn them in, that she wants to be there for them. She needs to convince them of her humanity when she's an alien. It's a very complicated but super sweet and amazing story. I loved the book. I felt that because it came out so close, there was such a big hoopla about Twilight and New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn that there really wasn't much room for the host. I know that it got its own movie. I watched the movie. I did like it. I just felt like they couldn't really portray everything that happens in this book in that movie because so much happens inside her head. And that's part of what's so great about the book, is that most of what's going on you can't see, but you get a better understanding, if that makes sense. So this book I felt deserved a lot more hype. I read it still. I think it's an amazing book. If you've only seen the movie, I strongly suggest you read the book because you're certainly going to love it more than. Now we have Song of the Sparrow by Lisa Ann Sandell. I know lots of people know this book, but I feel for how amazing this book actually is, that more people really should know it and have read it. I have read this book so many times. I think it is amazing. But a lot of people, when you say that you're reading Song of the Sparrow, they don't know what you're talking about. I love this. Now, to explain why. Everyone knows the tale of King Arthur, Lancelot, and Guinevere. This is partly that tale, but it's like a tale beside that tale, because this is about Elaine of Ascalon. She is at the King Arthur's camp with her father and brothers because she was taken there after her mother was murdered. So they are the only ones there to take care of her. She is now 16 years old, and she thinks herself in love with Lancelot. Now, most of you probably, oh, Lancelot's so sweet. No. I felt, even from the beginning, that Lancelot did not deserve her admiration or anything. Right from the beginning, I knew who I liked. Who I loved in this was Tristan. From the very get-go, I loved his humor. I loved that he always tried to get Elaine involved in anything he did, whether it was a practical joke or just sitting down to have something to eat. He didn't treat her like a child. He treated her with respect. while I felt that Lancelot constantly viewed her as a child and sort of under him, as if she had less worth than he did. So Elaine has her story. It goes alongside of King Arthur's, Lancelot's, and Guinevere's. So that in the end, Elaine, even though she's a girl, is the one that saves the day. It is written a bit differently. It's written sort of in a poetic way, but I really enjoyed it and would strongly recommend it. It is super sweet. I really loved Elaine. Tristan, amazing. Highly recommend. Now we have The Goddess of Yesterday by Caroline B. Cooney. I have had this book for years. While the cover is a little odd, I absolutely loved this book. And I still love this book. I have read this book so many times that I have lost count. So, The Goddess of Yesterday is about Alexandra. She is favorite child of her father. She is taken by the chieftain, King Nicander, to be a companion for his daughter, who is a sickly girl. And while she is a companion, she is constantly reminded about the fact that that is all she is. She is just a poor girl, and that her parents are never going to want her back. So this is the life that she has to deal with. Well, when Sifos is attacked, that's the island that they live, everyone is murdered except her. So when a fleet of ships come to rescue her, and check everything out, she assumes the identity of Princess Callisto. She knows that this could be her death, that this is illegal to assume the name of a princess when you are not. These ships belonged to the king of Sparta, so he takes her back with him so that he can raise her alongside his own children with his wife, Helena. Now, Helen of Troy, who first started out Helen of Sparta. Most of us will know this legend. Well, this is what this book is tied around. That Alexandra gets taken here as Princess Callisto. Helen never likes her. And then the war starts. She goes with Helen as Helen's daughter and is attacked over this because she wants to protect Helen's daughter from her. And then knowing that Helen didn't actually want her daughter with her, she just wanted to hurt the king even more than she was already doing. So, as we all know, Paris and Helen's affair caused a massive war. In this time, Alexandra is caught in the middle of this, but also is now being attacked because it's being found out that she is not Callisto, that she pretended to be a princess. So much bad things happened to this poor girl, and yet in the end, she always tries to do what's right. She always faces wrongs. It is such a beautiful story, and I strongly recommend this one, but I feel like it's never gotten the hype that it deserves. And now we have Can't Get Enough by Gena Showalter. Now this book is part of the original Heartbreakers series. I feel like this series does not get enough hype at all. I loved every book in this series, from the beginning to Can't Get Enough. They're amazing romances that are contemporary. But because Gena is most known for her Lords of the Underworld books, I feel like this series did not get enough hype. Definitely did not get the hype that it deserved. So, Can't Get Enough is about Brock Hudson and Lindy Scott. Lindy was in an abusive marriage and has basically sworn off men, but she wants a baby. So her theory is that Brock can get her pregnant and then just leave her and the baby alone for her to raise. Brock is ex-military, and he's always avoided romantic entanglements, has never been one for relationships, is with women, but never for a length of time. He always does the one-night stand. That is until he meets Lindy. Lindy wants a baby. Brock has decided he wants Lindy. Now, in Can't Get Enough, Brock needs to attempt to convince Lindy that they'd be better together instead of just apart and raising the baby. It was very sweet, and I like the fact in the original Heartbreaker series that it does have issues. No relationship is perfect. I don't care for romances that everything is beautiful, no hardships whatsoever. Every relationship has some kind of hardships, and I like that in this series it touches base on that, whether it's hardships of past relationships so they can't trust properly, or PTSD from being ex-military, or any number of things. I really enjoyed these books, and I feel like they did not get the hype that they deserve. So yeah, that's Can't Get Enough by Gena Showalter, and for that matter, that's every single one of the Heartbreakers series. I loved them all and felt that they all deserved more hype than what they actually got. The next book I feel deserves more hype is Highlander, Lord of Fire by Donna Fletcher. Now this is part of the McCardle Sisters Courage trilogy, and it's book 3. I recommend all the books, but I especially loved this book just because of the main heroine in it. I really loved her. In all honesty, I feel all Donna Fletcher books deserve more hype than they actually get. Yeah, I love every Donna Fletcher book I have ever read. They are amazing Highland romance books that have such beautiful and unique stories to them. So Highlander, Lord of Fire has Snow and Taurus as the two main characters. Snow is blind, and she has her cute little puppy Thaw, who is basically the back then version of a seeing eye dog. Thaw helps her get around and helps that she doesn't get lost or anything. So she really relies on Thaw because of an accident that ended up taking her vision away. She was not born blind. She became blind in a horrible accident. Taurus, the Lord of Fire, is a lord that everyone fears but also respects. And even though he never saw himself wetting Snow because she infuriates him to no end, they end up getting married. And then from there, you get to watch their relationship grow and Snow begin to trust him more and more while also helping him be better for his clan. So Snow is the biggest reason why this is one of my favorite books, but more so because I really love Donna Fletcher as a writer and feel like she deserves more hype. So that's the Highlander, Lord of Fire. So there's a lot more books that I could say deserve more hype than they actually get. But I'm going to end with those simply because I might do a part 2 or even part 3 just to bring these books to light. I want other people to understand the joy of these books. They may not be as well known as some others. They may not be this big advertised thing, but they're amazing reads, and you really should read them if this genre is what you enjoy. So to end this, I will also say, please check out my books like The Queen of Thorns, They Walk Among Us, The Unhappily Ever Afters, The Darkest Fairy Tale, Tears of a Valkyrie, The Bookworm Monsters, and more are to come. Also, you can find all the links to purchase my books and my wonderful merchandise on my website, which I will link below. Toodles, Darkling.